What's more heartbreaking than love doomed from the start? Some of mythology's most tragic love stories will leave you questioning fate itself. Today we're diving into the world of tragic love stories in mythology, tales where love isn't enough to overcome destiny. Let's start with one of the most famous tragic romances in Greek mythology, Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, a gifted musician, fell deeply in love with Eurydice, but their happiness was cut short when Eurydice died after being bitten by a snake. Devastated, Orpheus descended into the underworld, where his music was so moving that even Hades allowed him to take Eurydice back, on one condition. Orpheus couldn't look back at her until they reached the surface. Unfortunately, as they neared the exit, doubt overwhelmed Orpheus and he looked back, causing Eurydice to vanish forever into the underworld. One mistake, one look, and Orpheus lost his love for eternity. Talk about heart-wrenching. Next, we travel to Japan for the story of Izanagi and Izanami, the deities who created Japan's islands. After a long and happy relationship, tragedy struck when Izanami died, giving birth to the fire god. Heartbroken, Izanagi ventured into the underworld to bring her back. However, Izanami had already begun to decay, and when Izanagi saw her in this state, he fled in horror. Feeling betrayed, Izanami cursed him, vowing to take 1,000 lives every day. In return, Izanagi promised to bring 1,500 new lives into the world each day. Their story is a heartbreaking reminder of how love can turn to bitterness and grief, and how life and death are in an eternal cycle. If you think Romeo and Juliet is tragic, meet Pyramus and Thisbe. These young lovers lived next door to each other, but their families forbade them from being together. They planned a secret meeting, but when Thisbe arrived first and saw Linus, she fled, leaving her veil behind. Pyramus arrived later, saw the bloodied veil, and assumed Thisbe was dead. In despair, he took his own life. When Thisbe returned and found Pyramus, she too took her own life beside him. Their story represents the ultimate tragic misunderstanding, showing how love can be destroyed by fate and miscommunication. Next, we turn to the Celtic myth of Tristan and Isolde. Tristan, a knight, was sent to bring Isolde to marry his uncle, King Mark of Cornwall. However, the two accidentally drank a love potion and fell deeply in love with each other. Despite Isolde's marriage to King Mark, the affair continued, leading to betrayal and heartbreak. Tristan was eventually exiled or killed, depending on the version of the story, and Isolde was left to mourn him. Their love, though powerful, was doomed from the moment they drank the potion, showing that passion can often lead to tragic consequences. Finally, we visit Norse mythology with Odin and Frigg. Though their love wasn't torn apart by betrayal, it was marked by immense sorrow. Their son Balder, the god of light and joy, was prophesied to die, and despite Frigg's efforts to protect him, Balder's fate was sealed. His death brought deep grief to both Odin and Frigg, with their love strained by the unbearable loss. If you enjoyed this dive into mythology's most tragic love stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Join us next time on Mythstorian for more captivating myths and legends.